Okay, welcome back. So we left our heroes having stopped the cultists from stealing the silver bowl that was the pattern group object for the explorers, the adept masters of the Kaer. So I just want to recap a couple things. If I was GMing the last adventure, I would have worried a bit because honestly this is a party of 4 characters. This adventure was probably designed for more players, for more characters to balance it out. So I should have done a few things. I should have either had less adversaries, or I should have allowed the adept masters to jump in. But, you know, as a GM, you always hate doing that because you don't want your NPCs to save the day and to be a crutch and to steal the spotlight from the player characters. So you got to juggle that. But, you know, one of the characters basically died, nearly, last video, I guess. So it's one of those things you got to balance. So perhaps maybe less cultists or reduced, because they have 2 versions in the adventure here. One that's the second circle challenge, one that's a first circle challenge. But they're supposed to be split as a just in case they run away and they get back to their hideout, you end up fighting the lesser ones there. So I could have just, if you are running this for your group, you can just switch it out. If you have too few players, too few characters, whatever, you can opt for the lesser cultists rather than the second circle challenge ones. Their stats are a little easier. Other than that, a couple other things. I could have again had the adept masters step in and help, and that could be hand waving. That could be just narrated, as in the masters say, "Hey, we've got this covered. You go after the guy running away," and that probably would have settled it. You know, a couple things I do want to go over. Legend points. So in Earthdawn 4th edition, I was looking over the Game Master's Guide, and in the Game Master's Guide, there is a section on legend points, the system's experience points. And in that, it does mention how legend points are awarded. So far I've tallied this up where, based on the conflict, the goals, and possible RP, that the characters all should have about 400 legend points so far. Because we've played through about a session and a half of play almost, if this was, you know, an actual game with a gaming group. So conflict, they got in that small fight with the orc thugs. You're supposed to give them at first circle, if they're getting a legend point award, you're supposed to give them an award between 25 and 75 legend points. The orc battle was pretty minimal, pretty easy. Fist fight, 25 legend points. I thought the battle with the cultists was more or less fair, even a good challenge, 50 legend points, the middle point. And that last battle with the cultists that had the Nethermancer and that Mad Angius, that was, you know, somebody almost died and it was pretty serious. I think that was worth 75 points. So the conflicts totaled 150. The role-playing goals, or the session goals, or adventure goals, I gave points for, you know, getting that gem back. Let's see, what else? Delivering the letter and trying to be peacekeepers with the Tiskrang, a few minimal points, 25. For saving the day by stopping the cult and being observant and protecting the citizens of the Kaer by protecting the light courts, 75 points. And for retrieving the silver bowl that was stolen from their masters, 75 points. And for RP, role-playing, just a total of 50 legend points. So totaled it up, it's 400 legend points each character. So each of them has 400 legend points. So what I'll probably do is just at some point, maybe the next video I make, I will take some time to do some training or something like that the characters will do now. Actually, I wonder if I can just go ahead and do it now. It's not too bad. I'm just curious. I might just bump up a rank in something and just see how much it costs. Okay. So let's just take a quick check on advancement. If it doesn't take too long, I'll go ahead and do it now on screen as an example of going up in legend points. Alright, so we're in the Building Your Legend chapter, in the 4th edition core book. Improving talent ranks. Okay. Character must be rested in good health. Character must meditate uninterrupted for 8 hours. Character must have not increased the talent already that day. Character has sufficient current legend points. The talent cost shows legend point cost to increase. Okay, and to find legend point, we have to check the chart. Alright, so it's the cost of increasing a talent to the next rank. So they all have novice talent. So if they wanted to raise a talent from 2nd to 3rd rank, it's going to cost them 300 legend points. Okay, so let's just see if anybody has a 2nd level talent that they want to increase to 3rd. Our elementalist probably wants to increase her thread weaving from 1 to 2. Can I increase anything from 2 to 3 though? She could increase her wood skin as well from 2 to 3 for some points. What else? Probably going to increase Scatter's taunt. It seems like a good use of points. Garn will increase his Tiger Spring probably, and Scorth will increase his probably thread weaving as well. Okay, maybe Fright. Maybe that would be a better 100 to 200. 200. And he can also increase his Astral Sight as well, 200 each. Okay, cool. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to increase their ratings. Astral Sight will go from rank 1 to rank 2. And Frighten will go rank 1 to rank 2. This is now at a step 9 and 8 respectively. Alright. And he spent all 400 of his legend points. Where's the section on legend points on this character sheet? Does this not have one? Oh, there it is. Total he's ever earned is 400. He currently has 0 because he just spent what he had. So he'll take a couple days to do that. Garn will increase his Tiger Spring from 2 to 3. That will cost him 300 legend points. Alright. He has a total of 400. He has current left 100 left. Takes him a day to do that. Scathra will increase her taunt from 2 to 3. Oh, I forgot to increase his. Never mind. So his Tiger Spring is actually, what is it? 3 plus 6 should be D8, D6 for initiative. Alright. Scathra. Again, she increased her taunt from 2 to 3. So this is now step 9, which is a D8, D6. Okay. She had a total of 400. She spent to go from 2 to 3, 300, so she has 100 left. And last but not least, Deza. Let's see. Wood skin 2 to 3 would be 300. Spell thread weaving might be more useful. Yeah, instead she's going to raise 2 of her rank 1 talents from 1 to 2, which will each cost 200. So current 0, but she had a total of 200. She's going to increase her awareness to rank 2. Her thread weaving to rank 2. So those are both at 9, which is a d8, d6. Alright, they meditate for 8 hours for each one of these. Probably take a couple of days to do this for both of them. For all 4 characters, I should say, but the 2 characters who increased 2, it'll take longer. And they'll take a couple days to recoup, to be in health. It takes a little longer for our character who died, and that was Garn. But, a week passes, and the characters are back in health, and their reputations still increases throughout the Kaer, and they will act accordingly and attend their masters when their masters are about to lead the town. Alright, I'm going to lead the town in its exploration outside of the Kaer. Alright, so I will read a portion from the adventure. Give me a minute to find it. So what's going on is this. The expedition, the explorers, the masters who are going to go outside the Kaer, are going to leave later than planned. This will allow the guard to keep and investigate an investigation on the cult and interrogate them further, and they're going to try to find out more. However, it's finally the day of the time for is coming for them to depart. People are lining up in the council hall to get a glimpse of the departing heroes. The long corridor leading to Freedom Gate is filled with people. Music can be heard. Several troubadours try to keep the masses entertained. As apprentices, the characters carry their master's equipment, following them to the gate. It's not easy. The masters have brought everything they thought they could probably need. Various weapons, ropes, grappling hooks, light quartzes, healing potions, blankets, rations, and much more. Once the possessions arrive at the gate, Joran Hardhelm of the Kaer Council steps onto a podium and waves his arms to silence the spectators. The voices fade to whispers. In the background, Joran nods to the members of the Council of Mages who occupy the area in front of the large gate. The magicians begin to chant in unison, making a show of weaving powerful threads to impress the onlookers and securely open the casing. The rounded door is part of a sluice bypassing the main gate, so nothing can penetrate Kaer, or so they say. The runes covering the caisson flash a gleaming white, blinding everyone for a second before fading to black. The crowd moves a few steps back, and some doubters even leave the hall, changing their minds at the last minute. One of the magicians opens the caisson, revealing an empty tunnel, with walls lined with orichalcum. Orichalcum is the famous elemental metal of the setting. It's like a rich orange gold color. One by one, the heroes of the day enter the chamber, waving goodbye to a cheering crowd. The door is closed behind them. Under the chanting of the magicians, the light of the runes fades back until they glow with a bright white light again. The cheering slowly ebbs away until an eerie silence fills the hall. No one knows what happens next, and no one even dares to talk about what might. While the people walk back to their halls, the burly dwarf Kaldarn approaches the characters. He invites them to stay at his tavern free of charge until the explorers have returned. They would honor him and his family if they accept. Again, our characters helped Kaldarn fight off the crazy cultists who would have burned his tavern down, and they saved the day by retrieving the silver bowl. So he offers them free room and board for a few days while the explorers leave the Kaer. Alright, a full day goes by after the explorers leave the Kaer, giving the characters time to relax and enjoy the amenities of Kaldarn's invitation. While Kaldarn himself is serving the meals, large bowls of sweet rice, vegetables, and meat, as well as foaming tankards of dark ale, the characters notice a person watching them. The tables and seats around her are left empty. Even though the tavern is filled with customers, it is easy for them to realize who she is. Ganjun, the Nethermancer from the Council of Mages. Ganjun is a weird figure, born to a human family with snow-white skin. Dark silken robes seem to blur her outline in the dim lights of the tavern. A full glass of blood red wine stands in front of her. Ganjun moved to I John D. Grove recently, right after she was appointed to the Council of Mages. People say strange things about her, and one of the rumors states that she has no friends, particularly among the Windlings. Such people are bad for business, says Caldarn, serving a new round of ale. With a nod of his head, he points to the Nethermancer. He continues whispering. I don't sneeze, hang on. Nope. She has not had a sip of wine yet, and she's been here for almost half an hour. I fear she'll curse me if I point that out. Can't afford that, though. Ganjun has a message for the characters. Waiting and observing, she waits to see if the heroes have the guts to approach her. If the characters ignore her or have too much respect to go over, she talks to them once they leave the tavern. Ganjun does not talk loudly, but she whispers every word she says. She is deadly serious about everything she says, and she always takes the characters at their word. Once she is ensured that no one else listens, she whispers. Alright, so knowing this, I've got these 4 characters. One of them is the Nethermancer, Skorth. Skorth would approach her. This is likely his master. Alright, because she is probably the most powerful Nethermancer in the Kaer. So that is his master or trainer. So she whispers to him, "You have to travel to the Hall of Akoros as fast as possible. Enter the shop named Upandal's Hammer on the Artisan's Mile. You will find that there's a very special offer waiting for you. But you have to be fast. Don't talk to anyone about this. Just leave. Your lives depend on it." Ganjun is not very keen to answer questions. If asked what the offer is about, she whispers something cryptic like life and death. She won't tell the characters who they will meet there or why she has delivered the message. If they insist and keep her occupied with their questions, she lets slip that they are about to see what their masters are doing. With that, Ganjun leaves for her room upstairs. So, knowing that Skorth is her disciple, her student of her discipline, right? Skorth will likely just more or less just follow his teacher's instructions. He'll say, "Listen, guys, we have to go." So he will lead his group on toward Upandal's Hammer. Alright, so our characters are on the way to Upandal's Hammer, which is a tool shop in Okoros. That is the kind of humany, peoply district of the Kaer. Kaer, again, is split into 3 districts or areas: Okoros, Karos, and Shell Minor. The explorers left by Freedom Gate. There was a sluice gate kind of exit for them to go through. The characters have been mostly in Karuz. That's where they've been staying at the tavern. And they've headed through Council Hall to Okoros to go to Upandal's Hammer. Okay, there's an additional map for that if you are interested. What I do when I play with my players is I take pictures of handouts and maps and send them through my cell phone to them, because we all have a group chat for the group. Alright, so this is Sleeper's Square. That's the center of Koros, and I can't remember where Upandal's Hammer is, but if it matters, you can find it on the map. Alright, Upandal's Hammer is a tool shop selling pickaxes, hammers, torches, and knives. It's the last shop on the Artisan's Mile, located close to the Okoros only entrance to the deeps. Okay, so close to the deeps. Their entrance to the deeps is over here, so I imagine Upandal's Hammer somewhere over here. The shop owner, an orc called Harg, greets the characters. If asked for the special offer, he nods and tells them to get inside. After locking the door, Harg picks up a carpet revealing a trap door leading to the cellar. He hands a light quartz to one of the heroes and signs for everyone to follow. The cellar of the shop is small and crammed with boxes and barrels. Harg pulls a lever hidden behind a dusty chest. A secret door opens, slowly revealing a dark passage. The orc encourages the characters to move down the corridor and follows, closing the door behind him. After a long walk, the passage ends before a blank wall. Another secret door is hidden here and can be detected with a Perception 9 test. Alright, so we'll have the characters roll their awareness. If anybody gets it, we'll do it that way. Alright, 5 for Deza. It's a miss. Gathra has an awareness step 8. 4 is a miss. Garn has an awareness of a D12. 5 is a miss. And last, Scorth has awareness of 8. It's 2d6. Oh wow, boxcars. 12. Plus 5 is 17. Alright, so a total of 17. So he more than makes up for the rest of the group missing it big time. Alright, so Scorth notices another secret door with a perception test of 9. Hidden under a stone on the ground is a lever. Pulling it open opens the door. The lever can be detected with a successful perception 5 test, which the rest of the group probably would have seen. Behind the secret door is a dimly lit prison cell. 2 human guards stand behind the open cell door. Okay. The guards greet the characters. Wait. This was after a long walk, so the passage ends before a blank wall. Okay. So it took them a while to get through this because they're passing most of Under Okoros, to get to, well, we're going to find out, is the Under Council Hall, the main center of the map. Behind the secret door is a dimly lit prison cell. 2 human guards, Kaer guards, stand behind the open door. The guards greet the characters and seem to have been waiting for them. They introduce themselves as Gisevald and Juss. Hard gives them a nod and closes the secret door behind before he heads back to his shop. It's not possible to open the door from the inside of the cell. Juss leaves and returns a few minutes later with Jorn Hardhelm, the speaker of the Kaer Council. Jorn enters the cell with the characters, ordering the guards to close it and stand guard from the outside. This is what he says. Alright, so if you're paying attention, yeah, this is really railroady. I mean, it's just shoving the characters along pretty hard. But again, it's a introductory adventure. I wouldn't, normally we would have problems with being so railroaded, kind of forced along with the plot. But again, it's to learn the rule set. Your players are typically okay with this for an initial adventure. This would not be their bread and butter all the time, or their meat and potatoes. They get sick of it because they want some freedom and some possibility that their choices matter. But here, unless they threw up a fight and refuse to go, they're going to wind up against this prison cell or a locked door behind them that they can't get through. So that's it. So this is what Jorn Hardhelm says. Give me a second to grab some water. Please excuse the inconvenience of this place, my friends. You are obviously not here to stay. For the moment, this cell just serves as a secure room to talk. Please hear me out. We need your help. Our worst expectations have come true. Our heroes, your masters, have not reported back as agreed upon. From what little we know of the outside, this is a bad sign. Unfortunately, the council is divided on the reason. Shalmanar believes, those are the elves, believes that the horror killed them, while Karvros, the dwarves, is sure that the adepts are either stuck somewhere or have attacked and killed the beast and are too weak to come back in. One side wants to send in another team, and the other one refuses to waste any more lives. Okoros stands somewhere in the middle, since we can't afford to take sides without some facts. For all we know, it might be some other problem entirely. Who can be sure about the horror being still there? It has not even probed our wards in 5 decades. Here is another problem. We cannot officially send anyone out there without risking a public outcry. The old feuds between Karros and Shalmanar could flame up again because of that. There are other volunteers, of course, but sending a whole group of them would definitely be noticed. We need to be fast, and you have already proven that you are able to work together, and we are able to hide the fact you are gone. I want you to leave the Kaer in secret, to take a quick look and find out what happened. If there really is a horror outside, run at the first sign you see and come back. It is almost certain that the creature is unable to lurk right in front of the gates. The wards have too much power, and the Council of Mages would have noticed its presence by divining the wards. It is a safe place for you. Alright, so Jorn tries to make clear the mission is just about taking a peek and coming back. Characters are not allowed to attack the horror if it is there, or go deeper into the mines outside if necessary. If they're able to determine what happened to their masters, the Council can officially start a rescue mission. Any character who does not accept the mission stays inside the cell until Jorn decides otherwise. He can't risk anyone spilling the beans among the population. So, again, they're being railroaded. Your choice is to go on the adventure, or you're imprisoned. So, the official story is that the characters have wrongly beaten up Harg for being a member of the Gate cult. Their reputation will be cleared once the situation is over. If the characters agree, Joran provides them with anything they need. He tries to get his hands on any requested piece of equipment within the next several hours. He does not want to lose precious time, so he does what he can. Joran tells the characters how to use the Kaonma, a mechanism integrated into the Freedom Gate on the outside. It allows them to create telepathic contact with a known individual inside the Kaer. Their masters have somehow failed to use it. If the characters use the Kaonma to contact Joran, he'll open the Kaisen again to let them back in. He also hands them a set of 3 keys, which will allow them to turn off the various traps and wards that protect Kaer Ardanyan. He cannot tell them anything about the traps because the Book of Sigils that described them was lost in a fire almost a century ago. The player characters will just have to try their luck. Alright, so it's a bit of an info dump there. As a GM, you might want to figure out a way to use bullet points and shorten that, because that's a long time to talk and your player characters will get distracted. So let's see. Their next goal is to go outside, report the fate of their masters if they can, or if there's a horror there, call for help essentially. Okay, so what else? Alright. The Kaisen. The mission starts the same night using another secret passage through the lower halls. The characters are led by Joran to Freedom Gate, where Ganjun joins them. The small hall is dark and quiet, only illuminated by the light of the runes and the deep hum of the wards. Gisevald and Just have been assigned to guard the gate. Ganjun moves to perform the ritual to open the inner door of the Kaisen. As the runes on the door fade, she turns toward the characters and explains how they open the outer door. You need to speak 3 words to transfer the magic of the outer ward to the inner wards. The words are magical and only work if spoken in the right order. Don't dare to pronounce the words in a different way, and don't even try to speak them in the wrong order. The words are Fe, Thark, and Baram. Fe, Thark, and Baram. Make sure you come back. With the help of the guards, she closes the heavy door behind the characters. Speaking the words, they feel strong waves of magic passing through them. The runes on the inner door begin to glow, while the runes on the outer door fade to black. The heroes enter the old mines, natural caves described in the Deep Mines chapter. Okay, so we will flip to that section. We skipped chapter, several chapters of the book, because those are the chapters for this adventure that are meant to be played if you do this adventure as not members of the Kaer, of people who grew up in the Kaer, but instead outside explorers who discover the Kaer. So we are Kaer dwellers, not Kaer adventurers. They pick up in the same place, just in reverse order of the dungeon. So instead of going entrance to entrance to entrance, you're reversing it. You're going from Kaer entrance to cave entrance rather than cave entrance to Kaer entrance. Okay? So I hope that's as confusing as mud. So here it goes. The players find themselves at Freedom Gate. Alright, the Kaer's entrance was hidden beneath the fast-flowing water of the underground stream. Only the upper part is visible. The Kaisen door is completely covered by water since it opens to the riverbed. The magic of the gate and the flow of the stream are connected by elemental magic. When the wards on the outer side of the Kaisen are deactivated, a barrier of elemental water diverts the flow of the stream into an alternate tunnel, allowing the Kaisen to be opened safely once the water is drained to a small rivulet. A few minutes after the door is closed again, the barrier reverts to its original position and the stream comes back with full force, likely to wash anything in front of the gate away. The barrier can also be moved by casting the spell inscribed in the stones on the shore of the stream located in the main cavern. See below. A small set of stairs leads up to the main cavern, allowing characters to get out of the way in time. Between the wards at the gate is a metal orb, covered with finely etched lines of orichalcum. This is the Kanma, a magical item dedicated to creating a telepathic connection between the user and one of the Kaer's inhabitants. Like so many things useful for returning to the Kaer, however. I can't read the rest. Spoil it. Okay, so here is the cavern. Okay. Freedom Gate. It's the tunnel. Okay. This is where they came from in the Kaer. There's some stairs going up here. And there's a large cave room over here with other exits. So our characters find themselves in this kind of like temporarily dry riverbed. The water is only flowing to a rivulet. They make their way up here. They get up the stairs and they see up here a broken Kaunma. So the magical item that they need to telepathically contact the people inside the Kaer looks broken. So it probably, I imagine, doesn't look like it's from wear and tear, but instead from somebody disabling it or sabotaging it. So the characters find themselves in this cave, kind of unsure what to do, because they were supposed to use the Kaunma to contact, and now that's busted. And of course the water's flowing back in to fill in the cave, so they are out of luck on being able to go there. They find themselves, the riverbed's over here, flowing through. They find themselves on the side of the cavern trying to figure out what to do next. So they have to make their choice to go either left or right, and they'll likely send the Windling to do stealthy stride to go check it out. Alright, so we'll do a 50-50% on which way we'll go. If it's 50% or left, we'll go left. If it's more than 50%, they'll go right. They're going right first. Alright, so the Windling is scouting ahead, and her stealthy stride is 2d6, because it's step 8. Oh, jeez. Snake eyes. So, she sure thinks she's stealthy, but everybody can hear her flapping her wings and thumping around. Probably stumbled into a stalagmite or stalactite or something. Alright, she gets to... If you see this side of it, they are headed to this right side of the cave. Okay? And they might investigate this room, or they might head out here. We'll see what the characters do first. Again, we will do 50% left. Over 50%, they're going right. Under 50%. So they're going to check out the left first. So the Windling will go towards the meeting room in the center and see if she can be a little more stealthy this time. 7. Let's see if anything notices her. Huh. Okay. Nothing seems to notice her. Alright, we'll roll for her perception when she gets in the room, the awareness. That's actually a d8, d6. 10. Okay. Let's see. Alright, what she notices when she gets in that room on her own or from the side is that there happens to be a creature that's hovering or stuck on the ceiling. It looks all like a blanket is up there floating, but not really floating as much as it's stuck to the ceiling, but it's a blanket that wiggles its sides. So she is It's a blanket of darkness up there and a tail. And she is rather nervous on what that is. She can't tell what it is instantly. Let's see. She has a creature lore skill, though, at step 8. So she will roll that to see if she can identify based on the limited information so far. Probably not with a 4. Okay. So she can't identify it based on the limited information. She'd have to see or see a little bit more to think what could be up there. Alright, so she reports back to the party that there's some kind of creature in there, at least one, and the party probably thinks they should try the other side and leave that thing alone if they can. Alright, so she will explore the next room with, again, a stealthy stride to go into the next room to see if she can be a little bit quiet as a scout for the party, a 6. So that will be the perception check that anybody needs to make to sense her. But she's going down the halls, and she gets to a small cave with another river, and she doesn't seem to see anything further, any more problems. But now it's interesting because instead of a natural cave, this seems to be a tunnel, kind of cave that, miners would have, mined. So, let's see, how do I... Alright, it goes straight for a while, straight east, and then there are 2 entrances, or 2 openings. Okay, it looks kind of like a key shape. So, it is going... Here were the caves they came from. There's a tunnel, it goes this way. There's a door, an entrance here, and an entrance here. Alright, so this way does the party go. Let's do 50% again. Left. 45. So they're going left. Alright, so when they go left, they have to make some rolls here because there's some stuff going on. Okay, so in these halls where they're passing, it's rather foggy here. Okay, so it's hard to see because the fog is really dense and it's going low. All right. Okay, I'm just reading ahead. All right. So what they're encountering is the party encounters a pit here in the fog. Okay. And it will take 3 turns to walk through, and each character is allowed a perception test. Alright, so they would have sent the scout first. Our elementalist is acting as scout. So she will make her awareness roll to see if she notices anything wrong. 5. Won't hack it. The perception test was a 6. Okay. Each round, if the character, alright, so she is prone to this gas that is in the mist. Okay, the heavy mist that's hanging over the pit. Alright, so she's going to have to make a willpower test each round. It's a pretty low willpower test. It's only a 4, but when you're only rolling a d10, it's easy to fail it. Alright, so the first round, she's going to make a 4. Second round. Third round. Alright, she's made it across. She didn't notice that the heavy mist in the area, the heavy kind of vapor, steam, or whatever it is, she didn't notice that it was poisonous, and she made it through just fine. So she thinks that the rest of the group can come along. Alright, we'll send the Obsidian next. Okay, the warrior. Alright, again, he's going to make his perception test. He's got an awareness of 7, so that's a d12. He fails to recognize that there's a poison trap. So again, he's going to make his willpower tests as he passes through on realizing that there is a danger here. Gotta make a 4 better. Of course, fails on a 1 the first step. Okay, so the character suddenly feels a little tired. And then the test succeeds, the character feels a little tired. If the test fails, he falls unconscious and risks drowning if still in the pit. So, this character falls over and is in the pit drowning. The rest of the party can hear a little bit of bubbling and snoring and all of that, and coming from the Obsidian who is stuck in the ground, stuck in the pit. So the Windling is freaking out, wondering why hasn't the Obsidian gone through. And Scathra will probably go in next to see what's wrong with the Obsidian. She is going to make her awareness check first when she steps in. Scathra has 2d6, 8, 12. She notices that this vaporous steam is making her sleepy. So she holds her breath and tries to wake up the Obsidian or drag him. Good luck dragging him. The guy's like 900 pounds. So she's not going to be able to drag him on her own. So instead, she's probably going to hold her breath, tie a rope around his waist, and then tell her brother Scorth to hold his breath, run through to the other side where she'll throw the rope to him, and they will try to drag him out together. Okay, so Scorth holds his breath, runs through the pit. She runs through after tying it around him, and they will drag our Obsidian, and hopefully the rope won't snap. Alright, and they get him through. He wakes up in a bit, and that was that ordeal. Next time they see any of that low-hanging misty stuff, the vapory stuff, they will hold their breaths. Okay, that is the first little trap there. They drag the sleeping Obsidian through that. And where are we? Okay. In this section of the cavern, there is a shaft. There are 3 entrances. Okay. So there's about 33% chance they'll go either way. And there's a shaft up. So what will they do? I think there's an equal way, because with the Windling and a rope, they could just send the rope up, okay, and go see what's up from there. But from down here, might not be enough they might not have a strong enough rope to lift the Obsidian up there, though. They might have to use another method. So the Windling could go explore that, but I think they're going to try where they are first, the level they're at first. So, let's see, 33%, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. 2/3. Alright, so they're going to go straight ahead into this main chamber. Alright, so this main chamber room is kind of shaped like that. It has multiple exits. There are 6 pillars in the room, and there's something in the middle that the characters notice, and I'll get to that description in a second. Alright, our Deza will do a quick stealthy stride to scout ahead. 4, not so great if people are in there, but she's trying to be stealthy. So she goes into this area. Alright, so there are actually 8 pillars in this room, not 6. The map actually has 7, go figure. There's a 7th one here. Supposedly there's an 8th, okay. 8 pillars hewn from the surrounding rock support the ceiling of the grand hall, surrounding an enormous crystal hovering in the hall's center. The crystal is twice a troll size, and emanates a pulsing violet light that illuminates the entire hall. Dancing shadows inside the crystal support the illusion that something in it must be alive. A large skeleton made of black bones lies on the ground nearby. The crystal has some type of dancing light, okay? And it's got a purpley color that's, shining its hue throughout this grand hall. Because, I mean, think about it. This crystal's like, I don't know, 20 feet big or something. As big as two trolls, like 20 feet. So it's rather huge, shining light throughout this area. Alright, so what do the characters do? The Windling is curious. She would probably whisper to the rest of the group what she sees. Large purple crystal. Let's see. I would probably ask a character who has like lore scourge knowledge, or anybody who's got like trap experience, to maybe make a roll. And this one might be behind the screen, only because you might not want them to know what they roll or why they're rolling per se. But Scorth has lore scourge as one of his knowledge skills. He's got it at step 8, so 2d6. He rolls a 3, so he doesn't recognize it. Okay. And who else might have a relevant skill? Scather has disarm traps, but nothing about like engineering or anything like that with a knowledge skill, or magic skill, or anything that could be potentially useful. I might have, this is when I might have Scorth do some type of, what do we call a half magic roll? So just relevant attribute plus your circle. Probably perception plus his circle of 1, so it would probably be 7 plus 1 is an 8. 2d6. 8. Okay. So he might understand that this could be a device meant to stop, slow down, or entrap horrors or malevolent spirits. Alright. When he recognizes it when he walks in the room. Okay. Alright, so I think before he has a chance to stop her, though, the Windling probably is going to take a look at it. She is, again, rather curious. So Deza will need to make a willpower check. I'll explain why in a second. She's got to roll a d10. Make an 8. 8. Alright, she makes it. Alright, so she is walking into the room, and she is rather just impressed by the pulsing purple light from this giant crystal. It's just so powerful, and she is like a moth to a flame. And she is just brought closer to it and realizes, like, this is potentially dangerous to her and threatening. So she shakes her head and walks off and stops looking at it and realizes it could be harmful. And she says, "Don't look at it," to the rest of the party. And the rest of the party looks away. Okay? And they are able to bypass this trap. Okay, let's see. Okay. Alright, so I did miss a part. Oh, I did not. Okay, cool. Alright, so the rest of the party more or less circumvents and starts exploring the other area. They find another pit trap here, but they just don't go into it. They avoid it. They find another shaft here. And this dungeon mostly, or this cavern mostly, goes nowhere. There's a lot of just going nowhere, and it takes them probably several hours to figure out that this place mostly goes nowhere until they get on this side and find out this shaft here. All of these go nowhere. Okay, there's just lots more pit traps. But over here they find another shaft and they see a rope ladder. This rope ladder, it looks more secure than a regular rope. They think if they go up and find something to put a leverage on with 2 additional ropes, they might be able to add that to the Obsidian's stomach, like tied around his waist or under his each armpit, and the bolt to Scrang can maybe alleviate some of the weight off the rope, so that they can help lift a 900-pound Obsidian partially up the shaft as he somewhat puts some of his weight on the ladder. He goes last. All right, so they figure out a way to get the Obsidian up through the shaft there, and they are now up above. And they find themselves in a natural cave area. All right. They're now in a natural cave area. Here's where the shaft they just came up from. The ladder. All right, so I believe what I remember from this, I'm looking over my notes here, is that they are in this area, the western shaft. Okay, Grand Hall. All right, there are broken stone lids. There's a broken stone lid here to the side of the shaft. They had symbols carved on the underside. They can actually make a history of the Scourge check too, and I think one of the characters has that history. I think Scorth has history of the Scourge as a knowledge skill. Lore Scourge, yeah. So he's going to make a test of that to see if he recognizes the writing. A 10. All right, and this only needed a 7. So he, with his suitable knowledge skill, he can determine that the symbols on the stones are remains of powerful illusion magic. Okay. All right, what else? These are the kind of things, like this was probably an illusion where nobody could see the lid formerly. It would have been visible to them as dirt, or stalagmite, stalactite stuff. All right, what else? So we are in this area. Ahead of them, over here, is an entryway. There's a portcullis here, but it seems to be up. All right, so they probably can pass through, no sweat. Or not a portcullis, like a door, I should say. And it's an open door. There's a portcullis elsewhere in the dungeon. Alright, what else is happening? So, from here... Alright, so this is a heavy oak door. It's not open. It's locked and reinforced with iron. So they're going to have to figure out a way to open this. Door reinforced with iron. Alright, so let's see. I think Scathra has lock picking at 2d6 on step 8. So I don't have any rules for the door. I'm just looking to see if there are any things in this one. Alright, so let me look through the Game Master's Guide for reinforced door and just a lock to see what it would be like to open the door. See what our chances are. Doors. Nope, nothing under doors. Let's go under lock. something under lock in the index. Alright, so let's go under lockpick in the player's guide. I'll probably have it. And under lockpick. Lockpicking, okay. Making a lockpicking test against a difficulty number determined by the game master for mundane locks. Okay. Okay. Alright. So it's just determined by the GM. That's not all that helpful. Is there a list in the book? Probably somewhere. Huh. Guess we can just do a difficulty. Let's just do this as this is a novice character. Under the average section of the difficulty table, an average difficulty should be 3 to 7. We'll make it a 6. Okay. So she's got to roll a 6 or better on 2d6. Alright, she rolls an 11. Plus 4 is a 15. She successfully unlocks the door. Okay. From this side of it. If they didn't pass that, they probably could have broken the door down. It just would have caused a lot of noise. Alright, so now that they've successfully unlocked this door and they've looked, they've seen no sign of their masters. So that's odd. Deza rolls her stealthy stride because she's going to go ahead of the party. 3, dang. Okay. She's going to investigate to see if she can find what's going on ahead of them. She comes to a larger area. This larger room has other chambers, it seems. There's a door here. There's another door here. There was a door there. Here are just 2 cave entrances. This is like a large pillar. This is just cave in here. Over here is a portcullis. It is open, I believe. Over here, some other caves. Here's another part to the opening. All right. Some other cave area here. Alright, so the party investigates the Spain room. They don't see much of anything. She's going to make an awareness check to see if she hears anything. Let's see. Sounds like a mostly quiet, empty cave. But she does have to make another awareness check. Difficulty 9. She fails it. So they open the door, and before they realize it, they've tripped some type of door alarm that was connected from the door to that portcullis. This portcullis is now down. Okay. So that's not good. Okay. So the portcullis is down. They don't see this, they just hear that. But when they come in here, they do notice the portcullis is now down. That must have been the noise that was made. They realize it afterwards that there was a trap there. Okay, they can go where they're going to go next. So they've already explored this. There wasn't anything of interest there. So this is a 1, 2, or 3. We're going to roll 33% chance, basically. Third, 2/3, 3/3, 2/3. Alright, so they're going to go explore the second one. The second one has a reinforced oak door like the last. It is locked. We'll see if they can open it. 7 will bypass that 7. Okay. It looks more or less like the last room. There's a shaft going down. However, this one doesn't have a rope down, and it's just another shaft going down. Nothing in there. They'll go explore this, which run. 50% chance either way. 50-50. 50% or less. Alright, they're going to go explore here. They'll send the Windling. She's got a 5. She tries to do her best she can to sneak into that room, and this room is occupied. So let's see if she notices them first or if they notice her first. Alright, they have a perception of 6, so this is a D10. And she rolled a 5, I think, right? So they rolled an 8. They do notice her. Alright, so in this room there are krill worms. So these segmented bodies about 18 inches long with bat-like wings sprouting near the front. Eyeless, they somehow see. From these spooky nocturnal flyers, there can be swarms of these things. So she sees them like bats at the top of this this cave. They're mostly leaving her alone. They're not interested. They're just wary. So she does her best to back out and to not disturb them. And they're not starving. Let me see if they attack her. I think there's like a third of a chance they'd attack her, so 33% or less. 36, so no, they don't attack her. Instead, they just more or less stay in their cave unless she goes in there. She quickly leaves, though. She didn't see any further entrances or exits in there. She just saw a bunch of krill worms floating up there, and she freaked out and backed out. Okay, so the party goes to this next door, and they try to unlock that. They unlock it. They get in. And again, it's another shaft going down, but there's no ropes or anything. It's just another shaft, another hole into the earth with a broken lid next to it. Okay, so this leads them finally to the portcullis dealing with it. They get up here and that they realize that there might be a switch on this side of it. Okay, so they might have some different solutions. The easiest one, though, is that the Windling is small enough to get through. So the Windling just more or less gets through the portcullis and problem solved. If your party did not have a Windling, they probably could do some type of rope trick, throw a rope through and open the portcullis. The only problem is that now they hear loud noises, roaring, crunching, stomping of something out here. So out in the distance, they hear some kind of loud, outrageous noise. And they see large feces in this area of the cave where it's starting to open to sunlight. They've never seen sunlight. It's so bright to their eyes. They're half blinded from this cave entrance, from not even looking outside yet. But they have managed to open the portcullis. Okay, and this is when they encounter a Brithen. A Brithen is a cross between a bear and an elemental having a bad day. So, luminescent flecks color these animal eyes. Their large heads sit atop ursine, like bear, bodies covered with shaggy deep brown or blue-black fur. Brithens are extremely territorial and stand on their hind legs and roar a challenge to anything that enters their domain. So, right now, they enter this area. They're all together. Party is here. They have crossed this room. The Brithen is over here. I think I should zoom out. Give me a second. Okay, the Brithen is over here. The party is here. There is the switch right there. And this is what's happening. Everybody's going to roll for initiative and then act. Okay, so first things first, Deza, it will do her creature lore and see if she can identify what this is. 8, 9, that's probably enough to identify this as a Brithen. So she knows that it is territorial, that it will basically do honorable combat with one individual, whoever it thinks is the toughest. And that's clearly going to be the Obsidian. And let's see, it's going to enter a duel with whoever stands up to it. It's challenging. It's doing this roar to challenge it. And if any other party members enters into a battle with it, and while it's doing a solo duel, it'll go rage killer mode and probably wipe the party out. So it's something to be careful about. And so instead, whoever the party member is who's being challenged needs to stand up to the challenge. Okay, so this is where we are then. Okay, however, these things are beastly strong, and it could wipe out your party. So if you're the GM, this is where you would telegraph and warn the players about it. Even if they failed their creature lore test and they don't know how to fight it, they should still know that this thing can wipe out the party. It looks beastly strong. Very powerful, very dangerous. Okay. Now, one other thing as the GM, you can mention next to you is the handle to the portcullis, behind you is the cavern, there's the Brithen in front of you. What do you do? Now, hopefully they heard you repeat that note about the portcullis and the handle to the portcullis, that you mentioned it twice now. Hopefully they take the bait, because that will save the party if they can somehow time it where they run back here and drop the portcullis on the beast as it's passing through. Maybe with a rope tied to the handle, or with one of the party members staying out of the way and trying to slam it on them real quick. Whoever wants to try it. Okay. Now the question is does the party realize that? Okay. So I'm going to say there's 2/3 chance that they have realized that you mentioned the portcullis and they're thinking Rancor from Star Wars. So 2/3 chance. Okay, they thankfully realize that, because there are some groups that will miss this. I've run this before, and the group did not realize that about the portcullis, to use it like a guillotine. So instead, they tried to fight the Brithen and nearly died, until I had the characters roll idea rolls to see if they could think about using the portcullis as a guillotine. I kind of led them by the nose a little on that one, because I did not want to TPK. Alright, so thankfully our players are paying attention. We've mentioned it twice. They picked up the detail, and they decide to try to drop the portcullis on the Brithen. But before we get there, we got to do initiative. So Garn is going to use his Tiger Spring. That will cost him 1 strain. Okay. And he will now roll a d8 plus a d6 for initiative. 9. Initiative is a 9. Scathra rolls a d12. 12 plus 2. She's on 14. Everybody else is on d10. Okay, and the Brithen itself. Brithen has a initiative of 5, so it's a D8. 5. Okay, so it's going last. Alright, so the order is Deza gets to go first. She says, I'm going to tie this rope to this and then fly back into the cave. Alright. That's Deza. Scathra says she will allow the Obsidian to challenge the Brithen, and she will not draw her weapon, and instead she will step out of the way and be prepared to fight it if need be. Scorth follows suit, and Garn steps back with his weapon drawn, yelling at the beast. However, I think this beast has a battle shout ability, so it does get to roar. So let's see how that affects what the beast does. The Windling is doing her delayed action, basically, or partial delayed action. She's waiting to slam the portcullis handle using the rope on the beast. Alright, so let's look what Battle Shout does. I think it's a talent, so let me check. Battle Shout. The adept issues a loud shout, intimidating a single foe. The target must be within the adept's Battle Shout rank times 5 yards. Brethen is... rank is 3, 15 yards, so maybe as it draws closer. 3... yeah, okay. The adept makes a Battle Shout test against his opponent's social defense. If successful, the target incurs a -2 penalty for each success to his tests until the end of the following round. Each use against the same opponent in a given encounter increases the difficulty number by 5. Targets which are immune to fear are immune to this talent's effect. Okay. Its movement rate is 16 or 8 squares, 8 spaces, if it does a normal move. But animals can do a double move and still charge. They can still do a charging attack. So, yeah. Mounts can at least. Let's see. I don't know if this one can. I know mounts have the charge ability. I don't think this one can. So this one just moves 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then roars at the Obsidian and does its Battle Shout, because it's within 15 spaces. So its Battle Shout is a step 7, D12. 3. That's not going to beat the Obsidian's social defense, which is pretty low, but it's not a 3. It's a 7. Okay, so the Brithen does its loud bellowing Battle Shout. It has no effect on the Obsidian men. So we are back at initiative, and initiative will matter here. Scorth is also next to the rope, so he can pull it if Deza can't in time. Okay, so let's do initiative. Garn uses another point of strain. He's going to roll a D8, D6 for his initiative. 3. Dang. Scathra uses D12 for initiative. Okay. Scorth is a D10. Deza is a D10. And the beast has an initiative of 5, so that's a D8. 1. Okay, good. The beast is going last again, somehow. Okay, so Deza is delaying her turn to wait until the exact moment where the beast is going under the portcullis and she will drag on the rope. Scorth is holding his action just to see what happens, and he will step in if needs be. Same as Scathra. And Garn is still yellowing and battling and bellowing and shouting at the beast, getting ready to swing his sword just in case the portcullis doesn't go down. And ready to fight it if he can. What he'd probably do is he probably would go ahead and use Woodskin. I think that takes up a recovery test. I'm going to hold out doing Woodskin because they think they can take him with the portcullis. Alright, so he's going to reserve his action too, just in case he needs to swing at this thing. The portcullis fails. Alright, so finally it's initiative on 1. The beast goes through, and just as the beast is going through, Deza pulls on the portcullis, drops it, and hatchets the thing like a guillotine. And the Obsidian finishes it off. Okay, and that's the end of that then. Okay. So that's how it should run. Again, telegraph the handle for your party, because otherwise they're going to miss it. And it's going to be a brutal fight, fighting the Brithen. And I think that's all I want to record for this video. And if I'll probably move on to the next section too. All right, thanks.